Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is your latest, I guess, on the transfer speculation happening at Chelsea Football Club. Contract extensions, no contract extensions, other players that are linked with Chelsea Football Club. Today has been quite a day when it comes to the news and what has been going on in the rumour mill around Chelsea FC. We're going to get into that very shortly. Before I do, I want to let you know today's video is brought to you and sponsored by the OneFootball app. Weirdly enough, a couple of these stories are plucked out from the OneFootball app. You can go over there and look for yourself. Make sure you hit the link in the description for all of your footballing needs. Download the OneFootball app now. It's my go-to. Make it yours too and enjoy. Secondly, make sure later on tonight you will catch my Day 5 recap of the Africa Cup of Nations, where I'll be giving you the lowdown on Cameroon and Ethiopia, where I know that scoreline has finished. Guess what? It's not 1-0, finally. It's 4-1. We've got goals, finally. Just as we begin the second match day of the group stage, goals are now flying in. So make sure you catch my recap later on this evening. But for now, Chelsea Football Club. Antonio Rudiger. We'll start off with Rudiger. I've got quite a bit of news to fill you in with today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video, because this one's going to be tasty. Anyway, Antonio Rudiger scored against Spurs yesterday, has been doing the absolute business for us. We are so happy with him. We all want him to stay. I've even been flaunting my CFC pen that Chelsea sent me themselves because I'm a member. They send out the gifts to their members, so if you want a gift, become a member. But I got this pen. I'm happily willing to give this back to Chelsea if they don't have any pens, for them to get him to sign the thing. Yeah, you can have this. I've been advocating for it and I hope it happens. Well, now, in the midst of the time that we've had where it's been looking uncertain, it's been looking like he's going, and even I said, you know what, I think I'm going to concede. I think he's going off to Real Madrid. I think he's going to be leaving. He's going to be leaving Chelsea. He's not going to sign. We have news. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Matt Law stating the latest as of about 15-20 minutes ago since the time of this recording. Matt Law, the latest, here it is. Antonio Rudiger is ready to listen to new Chelsea contract offer. That came from Matt Law. You have the article there beneath it about Antonio Rudiger ready to listen to new Chelsea contract offer. The article goes on to say, given the potential he has for a signing on fee if he moves, Chelsea may have to offer a hefty loyalty bonus to keep him. We have more in relation to this story from Matt Law, saying Antonio Rudiger's representatives are likely to accept that Chelsea will not offer to match Lukaku's $325,000 a week terms. The length and size of the Belgians' deal has given them a reference point. Now, earlier on in the day, we had a little bit more of an update in relation to the Rudiger story. This has come out afterwards. So if we go back to earlier on in the day, we had what was being rumoured by The Athletic, who we know are very reliable, about what is Rudiger's expectation. What would he sign the dotted line for? Well, here it is. Chelsea are holding discussions with Antonio Rudiger's representatives again. It is believed that the German centre-back is demanding a 4-year deal worth around 180k a week to 200k a week. Is that it? Have we been holding up this long because he wants 180 to 200k a week? If that is the case, I don't know what to say. Look, there was the whole rumour going around of £400,000 a week if he goes to Real Madrid. You know, not necessarily in terms of a salary, but his salary with a bonus added on that he'd be getting annually, broken up into weekly segments, let's say, would equate about 400k a week. So there was that rumour. Apparently, none of that is true. Apparently, now I don't know if that was or if it wasn't. I don't know. I just give you my opinion. I don't know if it was legit, but apparently it wasn't true. Real Madrid, apparently, as well, have distanced themselves from Rudiger now because they don't see it financially viable for them to do this deal. They don't have the capacity to get a deal done of this magnitude. So they have stepped away, apparently, or just stepped back. I wouldn't say stepped away from the entire negotiation or the entire deal, but Rudiger looking like he's willing to listen now. 180 to 200, I'd do that tomorrow.
I'll do that right now. Next 5 minutes. Get the flipping contract. Put it right here on the table. I'd be like, Rudiger, enter the flipping room. Here's the pen. Sign it. We'll give you 200. We'll give you 200. There's not even a case of, 180 to 200. Let's call it 190 then. Chelsea, I think, would try and do that. I think they'll try and save every penny that they can. But, as well as that, trying to look strong. But at the same time, he deserves 200, man. When you have Lukaku, who we now all have an active problem with, yeah? Getting 325k a week. Rudiger, who's performing in the manner that he is, and we're not going to give him 200? Yet if we get a Koundé, for example, he'd be getting 200. What's the logic? We have to be a bit realistic here. I understand getting business done can be long, can take its time. Sometimes you have to allow the process. There are interests on both sides. Rudiger wants what he wants, but Chelsea want what they want. And Chelsea need to look strong in this. They don't want to look weak and that they bend over for any player and any demands. So I understand why Chelsea might prolong it. But we have to think logically here. The player deserves it. There needs to be a case at the club, like an ethos of if a player performs at a certain level and delivers what he's meant to deliver and more, and does really well and works hard and deserves his demand, you grant it. That could be a motivation for any other player going, okay, if I want that mega contract, I'm going to have to put my head down. You can set an ethos and play it in your favour as well as keeping the player happy. So I don't see why we need to hesitate any longer. Let's get this done. Let's keep Rudiger at home. Let's keep him here. And let's not let him go anywhere else. Let's not. Because when he's putting in performances in the manner that he is, there's just no shying away. He's fantastic. He's happy here. He's playing first team football. He's competing for trophies. He's in another final now. He contributed to that himself. He's playing under a manager who he thoroughly enjoys playing under. Thomas Tuchel does exactly what Rudiger wants as far as Rudiger's concerned. He's happy with him. So there's no reason to go. The only reason would be if he's not getting what he deserves. It's as simple as that. Give him what he deserves. Now, that's Rudiger, and that's the latest. So that's very good. It's looking a bit more optimistic in relation to Antonio Rudiger. We'll see how that all pans out. But things have switched, because just a few weeks ago, I would have told you, I reckon Rudiger's going and Christensen's staying. Whereas now, I'm starting to look at Rudiger and go, okay, he might be staying, but Christensen? We have the latest on Christensen. So here it is. It's from Christian Falk saying, Dortmund are interested in Andreas Christensen. The player was in good talks with Chelsea in August for a new contract. But since November, Christensen has a new agent who is talking with interested clubs again. So here we are. Christian Falk, who we know can be a little bit on and off. But when it comes to German football, German clubs, he's pretty much spot on. Everywhere else, he can get it wrong. But when he's talking about Germany, he's a reliable source. And he's come out and said, yeah, Dortmund are interested in Christensen now. And Christensen's changed his agent. I thought he changed his agent so he could get the deal over the line. So he could get this contract signed, because the hold-up was crazy. And now he's changed his agent. All of a sudden, well, everything's blown wide open again. What's going on? What's going on? Now, I'm starting to think Christensen is leaving. I'm starting to think Christensen will not be staying, whereas Rudiger might actually be staying, which opens things up for us, to be honest, because yeah, we have Thiago Silva, but we might need to go and get another centre-back now that can partner Antonio Rudiger. Or if we're thinking long-term, someone young that's going to come in and be the next guy to thoroughly impress under Thomas Tuchel, whilst Rudiger is still there and Thiago Silva steps aside, because he's going to be retiring soon. Let's have it right. I don't think too soon, maybe 1 or 2 years left in the tank. But after that, it's game over for him. So there's that to think about. Christensen, though, would it be a big loss? I'd like to think that it would be more of a loss for him than it is for us. Yes, he'd go elsewhere and he'd play his football, and he might be happy with that. But what he could do if he stayed and worked at Chelsea, I think there's a pathway there. And if he's not going to take it, so be it. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I think Christensen being linked with Dortmund is an interesting link. We'll see what happens there. Now, Matt Law's given us more news in relation to our wing-back situation. Ben Chilwell is currently out for the season. We know this, and I know a few of you have been advocating for various players. Luca Dean, who's now joined Aston Villa. That's official. El Ghazi's gone to Everton on loan as well. I think that's been part of the deal. We've seen Emerson and the whole news about Emerson and Lyon. Lyon are not willing to accept any compensation. They want Emerson to stay. And fair enough, I've got nothing against Lyon on this one. They agreed a loan deal with Chelsea and no compensation is going to get them to replace Emerson midway through a season. So I can completely understand where Lyon are coming from if they're going, no, we agreed this up until the end of the season. We're going to stick with this. No discussion. I thoroughly understand Lyon, and they have every right to do that. So Emerson's looking like he's going to be staying put, despite, I think, him wanting to come back, although he's playing very well over at Lyon, so fair play to him. But Matt Law has an update with a player that I know many of you are going to be happy with here. Yep, the one link that I've seen, the one name that I've seen a load of you mention is finally getting the mention by Matt Law. So, check this out. Chelsea are searching the market to find cover for injured Ben Chilwell. Barcelona would be prepared to send Sergio Dest on a loan with an option to make it permanent later. And that is the one I know all of you have been dying to see, haven't you? You've all been like, Dest. We must get Dest. Go and get Dest, please. I've seen it. I've shied away from it, if I'm being completely honest, because I didn't truly think that would be an option. I didn't think Barca would entertain it. Well, now it's looking like Barca are entertaining it. I would say yes to this deal. I think Dest who's young, 21 years old, United States international, bring in more Americans. You know, Flippin' Pulisic, Dest, I mean, that could be the left-hand side formed, who knows? But the thing with Dest, can play as a fully fledged left-back, we know this, can play as a left wing-back, it seems, is very good. 21 years old, young, loads of potential, I think would slot right in. Even in terms of being able to compete with Ben Chilwell, if he were to get the upper hand, or even not, he would be someone that would, I think, work, put his head down, and just keep thriving. So with Dest, I would do this. And we'll see what happens, but that is a link that I've been waiting for to see something concrete on, and now we're seeing something concrete. So let's see what happens. But that's not just where Chelsea are looking. We've got more in terms of the right-hand side now, because we have to recognise Reece James is out with a bad injury. He's out for a few weeks. Aspie is covering at the moment. That's not sufficient, and that's not viable right now. So we've got an update from the admin of CFC News page on Instagram. He's joined Twitter, Nathan Gissing, and he has an update in regards to Chelsea's right-sided defensive situation. Here it is. Chelsea want more of an experienced player to come in for right wing back on loan because they know about Tino Livramento buyback option. They will decide after the Man City game. Now that Man City game is on Saturday, all of you know, so the preview to that will be uploaded tomorrow. Make sure you guys have your eyes peeled for that on here, Younes Talks Football. This is an interesting one. And it's nice to see that Chelsea have an eye open here, because we know Livramento has a buyback clause. And if we have to trigger that, we can. I don't know if there's a certain year that we have to wait till. Judging by this, it doesn't seem like there is. If not, this wouldn't be part of the conversation. So I'd like to think that is an option. But we'll see who we go for in terms of a loan to cover us for the rest of the season if it means Reece James needs good cover and Aspie isn't going to fulfill that. So, again, we'll wait and see what happens. But seeing the Tino Livramento link, interesting. And that also brings me to mention Broja, by the way. For next season, Broja's someone that I want to see come back to Chelsea, and I hope that maybe he could actually be the solution to our striker situation. Could be. Just in terms of a striker coming in and banging in goals, you know? We'll see. Now, one more link to talk about, and it's not just one player. There's 3 players mentioned here. But I thought I'd mention this because it's come from L'Equipe in France, who are very reliable when it comes to French-based players. So, check this out. Chelsea are set to revive their interest in Jules Koundé, as well as targeting 2 of his compatriots, Presnel Kimpembe and Aurélien Tchouameni. That is a very, very interesting link there by L'Equipe. Koundé, Kimpembe, and Tchouameni. I think it's safe to say that Chelsea fans would accept all 3 of them. All 3 of them. It's a bit, one thing is a bit weird though. Koundé and Kimpembe? That's a little bit of a grey area. I'm not sure we'd get both. I don't think we'd get both. But I know Chelsea fans would take both. Even right now, if we were to let Christensen go, I think Koundé was going to be a target anyway. We'll see if Rudiger stays or not. If he does, then get both of them in. Absolutely, that would work. But if Rudiger stays, maybe after, maybe it's getting things ready for when Thiago Silva steps out of the way, Christensen does leave the club. If we were to have Koundé and Kimpembe, oh my God, could you imagine? Could you imagine a back three of Rudiger, Koundé and Kimpembe? I mean, that'd be ridiculous. It would be a top centre-back trio. And then Tchouaméni is someone all of us want. Whether it's going to be him or Declan Rice or both. But we want someone to come in. And Tchouaméni is definitely someone we need to entertain. It won't be for January. It will definitely be for the summer, though. That is a link we've got to keep an eye on. But tons of news today. Tons of news in relation to Chelsea transfers and the links and the contract situation. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think about all sorts. Rudiger, Christensen, Dest, Koundé, Kimpembe, Tchouaméni. Let me know. I'd love to hear your opinions on it all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, video 2 later on, day 5 recap of the Africa Cup of Nations. You're going to be getting that as I give you the lowdown every day of the tournament as it goes all the way to the final. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that later on. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this, and I will see you later. Have a good one, people. See you later on. Take care and peace.